Hello, I'm Stephanie Cole and I'm obsessed with coming up with podcast ideas.
Hi, I'm Monique Hammond on Thoughts for Your Thoughts, filling in for Monique Hammond, and I'm obsessed with Parks and Recreation and Pawnee Public Radio. Don't put this in.
This is the Modern Adult Podcast where we explore the modern adult landscape and ask the dumb questions about adulthood so you don't have to. This week we're doing things a little bit different. We're
Pause for dramatic effect and sound effect.
doing an investigation!
Screaming sound effect!
Into how much money you should have saved in your 20s.
Lightning crackle. That's right, no one asked for this. It's just been annoying me that I don't know the answer, and Google is no help to me. So I'm going rogue, baby. Get out your bank statements and call me Snoopy because I'm about to get all in your business.
My favourite podcast last year was The Pineapple Project, created by the ABC and hosted by the wonderful Claire Hooper. Hi Claire, I think you're wonderful and beautiful, and I tried to pitch to my girlfriend that we listen to The Pineapple Project every night when we go to sleep, but she said no, and now we listen to Harry Potter, but I need you to know that I tried.
I bet you did. The podcast is about Claire not being great with money and wanting to learn what she can do better. So now that I'm thinking about getting better with money, it's a good time because if Claire can do it, so can I.
Are you ready to find some answers? Yes? Okay, let's go!
I'm 25. I have $10,000 saved and a mortgage.
I'm 22 and I have $2,000 credit card debt.
I am 24 and I have $40,000 saved.
I'm 29 and I have $0 saved.
Hello, Stephanie here, and I've got my detective cap on, and I'm meeting with
a special guest. It's still me. So first of all, before we go into some other people's financials, we're going to reveal a bit about what we have before we start investigating.
Can you tell me a bit about your current financial situation?
So at the moment, I work 2 jobs. I work doing IT support at a university, and I also work as a supervisor at a cinema. So yeah, 2 part-time jobs, and I get pretty full-time hours at the IT job. So I get about $1,500 a fortnight, and the other one I get about $500 a fortnight because that's much less hours.
How long have you had these jobs for though?
So the one at the cinema I've only had for about a month, and the one in the IT role I've had for about a year and a half. Feels like a very long time doing IT work. It's not fun.
So have you always had kind of like measures put in place for your like money to make sure you're saving and you're living the lifestyle you want to be living?
I don't know how other people save, but I save in probably not the best way. I look at my bank account. So I have the ANZ app on my phone, and it says my Access Advantage account and my Online Saver account. And if I feel like my online saving account has enough money in it, I will put less money into it. And if I feel like my Access Advantage account has not enough money in it, I just take things out of my savings account and then try and balance it out the next paycheck. So I don't really have a system in place for saving, as in I don't put away a specific amount each time I get paid. I don't put away a certain percentage. I just put away what I feel like.
So what are your goals at the? Are you wanting to like change anything or?
Yeah, I would. I think I would like to put away maybe a certain percentage, but I'm not sure like kind of what percentage that should be, or like what's workable with like the bills that I've got to pay, because I live out of home. So I pay like the electricity bill, the water bill, rent, groceries, general living, life expenses. I also do like to go out a fair bit, so I wouldn't want to like significantly decrease that and like go on a really mad saving thing. So I wouldn't want to like stop going out.
Would you mind sharing how much you've saved currently?
Yep. So at the moment, I have $57 in my spending account to last me until Wednesday next week. I already know that that's not going to last me because I have a hairdresser's appointment next week before I get paid, and that's really expensive. And I have $11,300 in savings.
Okay. So how long have you been working on your savings?
Probably I've solidly been working on my savings for about... I've been working on my savings ever since I started working, and I've always had like maybe like $1,000 or $2,000 in savings, but I think it was only 2 or 3, maybe 2 years ago that I got more than $4,000 in my savings. Like before then, I only had like, about $4,000. So I've got so much more savings than I used to.
What are you hoping to put the savings towards though?
I don't really have any goals. I know like a lot of people sort of have like holidays, or like they want to do a down payment for a house, or like start a business. All of those things are appealing to me. None of that money's earmarked for anything in particular. I guess it's just there if I need it. So if I did, like I'm thinking about like, oh, maybe I want to go to a holiday in Japan next year. Maybe I'll use my savings, but I haven't, it's not like specific. But if maybe I did get a really good job and I did save another like, I don't know, 10 grand, I could be like, oh, maybe I will buy a house now. Like, I don't know anything about the housing market. So if I ever actually buy a house, that'll be a podcast episode. But it's not for anything in particular. It's just kind of there if I need it. If I lose my job, I can live off that for, I don't actually know, like at least 6 months, probably way more than 6 months.
I think maybe that's an issue for people in their 20s, that we don't quite have worked out what we want to be saving for.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people in their 20s, and I know I'm guilty of this myself, I kind of blow quite a big chunk of money just because I have nothing in my mind to be putting it towards.
That's true.
And so that's something I want to get a bit smarter about and work out, okay, what do I see for myself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. And
then I can slowly start working out, okay, if I want that, I need to be doing this now to get this then. I currently have $11,000 in my savings account. I have no system. I have 2 accounts. One is my savings account, and the other one is the account I transfer money to so I can buy stuff online. I have no goal, and I'm really stressed, and I need someone to hold my hand.
I'll hold your hand, Stephanie.
Oh, it's my beautiful girlfriend, Kate, here to share her beautiful thoughts. You're the beautifulest and smartest person I know, but you're also really good with money. I know you are because you brag about your barefoot investor system. But all I have to say to that is some people can't read, Caitlin, and it's not nice to show off, but go on.
I currently have $20,000 saved up, and that's with having recently bought a car for $10,000 and also being robbed recently, which was not planned.
Not planned.
Not part of the system.
Not a cute prank with love.
That was not in the that was not in the book.
So how long have you been working full time?
I've been working full time for 3 years, but if I'm honest, I've only been saving properly for 2. I was kind of high on the joy of having a full-time job for the first year and spent way too much.
Can you tell the lovely listeners how old you are?
I am 24 years old.
You're 24? Oh my gosh, such a youngin'.
You're dating a little woman.
I know, I'm a cool... Oh no, that's you. But can you tell me a bit about your system that you've created? Because I know it's very impressive, because I'm guilted every week for it because I do not have this system. I have 2 accounts.
I did not create it. I did not write The Barefoot Investor. That was written by someone called Scott Pape, and he has a lot of other good ideas that I haven't applied, but the one thing that I took away from it is that I have multiple accounts set up, and for each pay I get, it goes into various accounts for rent and bills and groceries.
What are the accounts?
Okay, so I have, obviously my money comes into my main account, which I then send out. A chunk of it, ideally about $400, goes to my big savings that I don't touch. And unlike you, I can't just transfer it across. That's with a completely separate bank even, so I can't touch it.
Yeah, a bit of context. I do all my banking out of my savings account.
And then I have within my main account, I have little subdivisions. So I have a little sub account for groceries. So I put how much I think I'm going to spend in groceries in a fortnight because I get paid fortnightly. And I put how much 2 weeks of rent will be in a different one and how much 2 weeks roughly of bills will be depending on the month will be in that one. And then I can't touch those for anything other than what the categories are. I use the app Monify where you, for every expense you make, you have to enter it to shame yourself and you can assign it little categories so you can see what percentage of like the pie chart of your money is going to rent or what is going to drinking and eating brunch. And then at the end of the month, I look at it and feel bad.
But you're very particular with it. There will be like, we'll buy something and then she'll have to stop in the middle of the street because she has to update her Monify. Otherwise, it'll be incorrect.
I always get receipts. Like if they ever ask me for a receipt, I say, yes, I want a receipt. So I can enter it and I know exactly what I spent. And I have alarms set up for like direct debits for my Spotify or my Netflix when they go out. So I'm not even though they're only about $12, I'm not expecting $12 to go out.
Yeah, so if you were having to budget for something that you weren't planning to, you have those alarms set so you know when there will be money in your account and when there won't be money in your account.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I don't really ever have that much money in the account that's linked to my card, just so I can't spend that much money. So the main one. So for when those bills come up, I have to physically transfer money from a sub account to a main one. Mm-hmm. So then it's not just getting mindlessly spent either.
What are your money goals at the moment? Then what's your long-term goal?
At the moment, I want to save back up what I spent on my car. So saving about 10 grand this year, hopefully. I want to travel this year. We've been talking about going to Scotland. So that'll be a nice fun thing. And I want
back to my root. Back to me. No, I wanted to do the Scottish accent, but I couldn't. Back to me roots. That was not Scottish. Wee lassie. That was it.
If they're going to accept me as one of their people and cast you out.
Back to money.
So for that, I set aside a certain amount of money that I think I'll probably spend on like flights and accommodation, just roughly. Then I don't want that to have to come out of my big savings. So I'm going to start putting a portion of my pay aside to that as well, which will diminish my savings, but I don't like to touch those at all because I have interest on those. Right. So I try not to withdraw. I only put deposits into my big savings account so that I can accumulate interest.
You know what I think you should do?
What?
I think you should start another bank account because you have so many. So what's another one? But I think there should be one called Stephanie, and every week you put a little bit aside.
Like an allowance?
Like a pension for me.
I was going to say like you're a sugar baby, but also a pensioner. The two ends of the spectrum.
Hi, I'm 23 and I have 351 Australian dollars saved.
21 and I've saved about $670.
I'm 24 years old with $20,000 saved, paying the mortgage on a house by myself. I'm 24 and I have $17,500 saved.
All right, as beautiful and brilliant as Caitlin is, I think it's time we get someone in who has more of a business background with money. I nabbed the one and only Matt J. Hannum from the Amplify Your Business podcast and the Simple Minds podcast to teach me the importance of automation and a bunch of other stuff that went over my head because I have 2 bank accounts, guys, 2.
I started life as an accountant and I have some of that experience from back in the day, but I've started several businesses along the way in construction and IT and now run a digital marketing company based out of Perth in Australia. And I've done all manner of things in terms of business, raising capital, growing teams, selling businesses, and obviously started life out as an employee and working in accounting firms and for companies like Coca-Cola. So I've done an awful lot of things, and nowadays it's digital media and marketing and enjoying what I do. But I now a little bit older. I have a young family, and I've certainly, I guess, got some context having lived at least through my 20s, which is kind of what you're talking about. So
to sum that up, you know how to deal with money.
Well, to sum that up, I tell you, I've done everything. I've done things right and I've done things wrong. When you're young, you have a balancing act of wanting to have some fun and enjoy some things, and also be a little bit responsible. I was probably more responsible in my younger 20s, and then became, I guess, less responsible in a way, which ironically wasn't by me blowing money, out partying and all that. And it's not that I didn't, party or do anything, but I spent more money building businesses, and I think I wasn't at times true to myself on how I invested that money back in businesses and other things. But for me, once you've got, let's say, 2 or 3 months worth of cash in the bank, sort of 2 or 3 months of your living expenses, you can then start to make some choices. One of the biggest tips I would give is to automate, set an automatic transfer of some money to somewhere. And if that starts off being cash, great. And if eventually you're looking at shares or putting money somewhere else, I think you can use a habitual system to avoid you spending all your money if that's your habit.
Something that I've been questioning is what your goal should be with savings, because I've got friends who are buying houses or making savings in order to buy a house in the future. And I'm like, what do I do with my money now? I don't know if I want that. What's the point of savings?
Yeah. Look, I mean, in a way, it's a personal endeavor. I mean, it's just a target, right? Because if they're trying to save money to, say, get a house deposit, let's say they're trying to chase $50,000, right? Look, all they're doing is chasing $50,000. And there's no reason why you couldn't do the same thing and then choose to apply it somewhere else. In your case, I know you'd probably like to invested in some cameras and audio equipment, which might not be the best use of your $50,000. But look, I think you've got that choice, and you could certainly talk to a financial advisor or planner, and they can guide you into other places if you didn't want to buy the house. But there's no harm in having a target, I would have thought.
I mean, I've got a few friends who've reached out to say that I have no savings and $2,000 credit card debt. What do I do? Am I on a bad track? They just don't know where to go from there. What would you advise?
Everything I know, I mean, again, is automation. It's trying to stop spending. And look, I've done this wrong. Like at times I've been really diligent and really good with money, both on a personal level and with businesses. And other times I've taken heavier risks and found myself chasing down much bigger numbers than $2,000. It's certainly I've had to chase down tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of problems that come up. I mean, the problems just get bigger in a lot of ways. So solving that problem for this person is probably as simple as that. An automation, get some awareness, really sit down and understand, like, okay, what's coming in, where does it go? And I think that's one of probably the first things. There's probably some, whether it's $50 a week spare to start paying that thing off, then it's probably there. What I've found for myself is automating and building sort of systems around money, because we're all human and we'll all make mistakes. We'll all overspend on things at times. We'll all just do things that aren't necessarily good for us tomorrow. But to be kind to us tomorrow, a system helps, because if you've already carved out that money and it's already been sent to pay off the credit card every month, well, you'll go to draw some money and you can't get to it.
So we've received some interesting advice today, and I think we can say we're getting a little bit better with our money. In the next episode, Monique and I will discuss our money goals moving forward, and we'll periodically check in throughout the series as well. If you like what you've heard today, please drop us a DM or an email at modernadultspodcast@gmail.com. If this was helpful, drop us a review on iTunes and share with some friends who need some serious financial help.